Hi folks, I'm Ethan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our how-to video on the 2021 BMW X1 xDrive 28i. Today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today we're working with our friends at Sears Imported Autos, selling beautiful Mercedes-Benz in Minnetonka, Minnesota.
So on the driver's information screen, you've got an analog speedometer and fuel gauge at the bottom, and then you have got an analog tach and a digital screen at the bottom, which of course will show you, the different gears as you're going through them. And currently, it's showing you the battery level, and then of course your instant miles per gallon. Now, in the middle of the screen, there are a few things that you can customize, but not much. So at the very bottom of the screen, if I use the turn signal stock, and there's a button labeled BC with an arrow by it, if I click that, I can go to this screen. I can see how many miles I have left until empty. I can see my current miles per gallon, and my average miles per gallon, and then my instant miles per gallon here, my speed, digital speed here, my engine temperature, and then I'm kind of back to a blank screen, and then I start over again. And other than a reset button right down here for the odometer, that's it for the driver's information screen. That's all you get, besides some dummy lights on the left and a little bit on the right. So I will show you one other thing. If you go through the different modes here, you do get a little different view. There we go. So now in Eco Pro, you get on the bottom of the RPM gauge, you get a little different picture with power and charge gauges showing up. But short of that, that's it. So next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. All right, so moving over to the infotainment screen here, this is an 8.8-inch screen. It does include navigation, Bluetooth, AM, FM, Sirius XM, Apple CarPlay, but no Android Auto, which is surprising. I've seen vehicles without Apple CarPlay, but never without Android Auto, so that is a new one for me. All right, it is a touchscreen, although you do have a controller pad down in the center console with shortcut buttons and then a toggle rotary switch that you can control the screen with if you want to. Now, this particular vehicle has the basic sound system, which does include 7 speakers. Okay, so the way this is set up is you've got these, I'm gonna call them just cards, and you've got about 6 of them. Okay, that's your home screen. And then each one is a different category. If you want to reorder these, if you click on here, you can just click, hold, and then drag and reorder them. Okay? So that is the way to customize that first part. So let's start by talking about navigation. So I'm just going to click on navigation. And of course, this brings us to the map. So in the navigation here, unfortunately, this vehicle's navigation card is not set up for the US. So I cannot actually program a route in the US currently. So let me just kind of show you where things would be. First of all, if you want to enter something by hand, by typing it in, you click on the checkered flag. Then you can enter the new destination, and you can look over here. This is like a second menu related to this. So if I click over here, then this menu pops up. If I click over here, then it's like a sub menu, right? And BMW lays them out side to side. So you could do that. You could also use the voice command system, which is just a quick push of the button, and then you would list your destination. Now, this would give you timing information on your trip. It's not active now because I don't have a route plotted. Here you can have volume muted for the navigation.
Navigation is not active.
So you can mute the volume for the navigation. Here you can take a look at traffic info, and then you can get map information here. So do you want points of interest to show, traffic flow and traffic icons? It's a simple check mark here to turn something off on the map. And then of course you can click down here, and this one just your map gives you, map views right here. So you can do direction of travel, the perspective you're looking at, and so forth and so on. Okay, so that's navigation. I'm sorry I can't plug in a route, but I need the correct card in the navigation to do that. All right, I'm going to press the menu button that down by the controller down here in the center console, and we're going to take a look at communication. So I don't have anything hooked up to it yet, so we're going to click here to do that, and we're going to say connect a new phone. So I got to turn my phone on, go to Bluetooth, make sure the Bluetooth is on, scroll to the bottom of my list, and I should see BMW 09163, which I do, so I'll click on it. I'm going to say okay, because that is the right number. I'm going to hit pair on my phone. And it asks me if I want to allow contacts and favorites to sync. If this is your car, you do. I'm going to click don't allow on my phone because it's not my car. And then it should connect here in a minute. Okay, so if I go back to menu for a minute and I press now on communications, all right. So I didn't allow anything to sync from my phone, but you can look at contacts, recent calls. You could dial a number. You can manage the different mobile devices that are connected. You can look at the BMW Assist right here if you want. And then you can personalize the menu. And that basically just means that BMW Assist is either on or off simply by clicking on that. Now it's off. Now it's back on. And then it shows up right there. I'm going to press the home button there. We've done navigation. Under connected drive here, you can again contact the BMW Assist, manage mobile devices. You can personalize the menu. And again, that's only if you want the BMW Assist to be on or off. Click the home button. I'm going to go over here under my vehicle. So we got quite a few settings under here. So this is the main category, and this is a sub-menu. So in order to look at vehicle settings, I need to click on this window, and then I can look at lighting, and then interior or exterior lighting, and these will work all the same way. This one happens to open up a new menu and then a new sub-menu, but this is how you select your which doors unlock when you hit the buttons. And then you can adjust the tailgate, and you can also select that you want the car to lock automatically. Okay, lock after starting to drive, unlock at the end of a trip, flash, these are all those settings here. I'm gonna hit the back arrow. You can look at intelligent safety. Okay, we get the frontal collision, and you can set the warning time anywhere from late to early, and you'd probably want to leave that on early. All right, you got parking here. All right, so automatic pedestrian detection, so that if it senses somebody back there, it'll brake the car automatically for you at low speeds. Okay, it's not at regular driving speeds. And then you can configure the Eco Pro here. You can set it to give you a speed warning, and then you can say, I want you to tip me at so many miles per hour, and you can just scroll through here to adjust. Okay. You can set the Eco Pro climate control on or off, and then coasting on or off. Right. So it gives you a nice little graphic over here and tells you the efficiency rating. All right. You can set comfort ventilation down here. This is a little difficult area to click on with a touch screen. In fact, it doesn't. So I'm going to have to use the scrolling knob down at the bottom here to get there, and then I'll click on it. All right. So then you can set to activate comfort ventilation. You can set a start time for that, and you can set a second start time. All right. So it's not running all the time. All right. I'm going to hit the back arrow here. Hit the back arrow here. iDrive settings. Okay, now you got mobile devices, which we've already looked at. You can change the language down here, and then you can always, you'd have to click on this screen and set it, and then go back. I'm going to go back again. You can look at displays here. Now this does have a small heads-up display. It's not a very large one, but it is nice to have. So here, if I click on it, I can adjust the brightness, the height, and the rotation. Now let's go back here. Control display. So you can turn off the control display. To bring it back, you're going to need to click on one of the buttons in the center console control area, and then you can adjust the brightness or dimness at night. Okay, on the instrument panel, you can have additional indicators. So that's where we saw the battery coming up on the RPM gauge. You can have navigation show up, so turn by turn, EcoPro info, range, distance, destination, arrival time. Okay, all these different things. But if you don't want something, you just click it on check marks, and it'll show you where the information is located. Okay. So it's nice that they show you where that is going to be. But that's where you uncheck or check information for your instrument panel. All right. You can set date and time right here, although typically if I press the menu button and I just go up to the clock and click, it brings you to the same thing. That's just an easier way to do it. All right, here's where you change your units. Okay, it's interesting that they allow you to change things like how the power is read, how the torque is read, and the pressure. That's nothing new, but this is interesting. Okay, so, and then horsepower, you can measure in kilowatts if you want. So just interesting that they allow you to change those things. There's always to adjust the sound for the sound system. This is where you go. You got treble, bass, and again, it is a click drag, so you can adjust it right there, which is nice. Sometimes those are locked with just plus and minus. You got the fader right here, balance, volume settings, and reset. Hit the back arrow here, and then of course you can look at. Oops, I'm going to have to use that scrolling arrow again. Notifications here, in case what it's set for right now is to show you missed calls and BMW messages. And if you don't want one of those things, you're just gonna click that. And all I'm doing when you see it move without my hand is I'm using the rotary controller in the center console. Sometimes that's easier to use because it's hard to get down here and click. Anyways, all right, pop-ups. Those are messages that pop up. So on driving experience control, it's supposed to allow a display to show if the mode button is pressed, but in the driver center console, it shows you the driver's mode no matter what button is pressed. So whether that's check marked or not. And then you can get a satellite radio favorite alert if you want. So if it hears a song that you've marked as a favorite, it alerts you so you can go back and listen to it. I'm gonna hit back here. Software update. So here you can update software. This does not have over-the-air updates. You have to update on a USB. Okay, the interesting thing is it has a restore software version. So I've never seen that before, but that's nice. So if you update and things are just wonky, you can go back and restore your previous version fairly easy, which is very nice. All right, let's go back again. You can look at the contents of the main menu. So under navigation, you can have map, or you can have arrow display. I kind of like the map view myself, and I do like it that they show you what that looks like. Okay, on my vehicle, onboard info is simplified. I'll go to onboard info or driving style analysis. Okay, it's kind of nice to have that driving information there. Hit the back arrow. Okay, you can set up your driver profiles here. You can look at your vehicle status right here. So you got tire pressure settings, which we have to be moving for it to show. You can look at the tire settings by clicking on it, and you can do a reset if you want, or back. Over here, you've got a couple of menus. This is tire pressure. You can look at engine oil level. You can look at any alerts. You can take a look at service history here. And over here, you can get a teleservice report. All right. Now, When I hit the home screen again, go back to settings here. All right, so let's go down to technology in action. And here we can show efficient dynamics, okay? And you can have that view or this view, which is, I really kind of like this. All right, I'm gonna hit back. You can have driving style analysis, all right? And you can have sport displays, which I really like having that right there. I like it they leave the little markers. I can go to a car view here, and then it's going to do tire temperature, which is nice. It gives you not only temperature, but the PSI. Okay, let's go back again. You can go down to driving information, and you can look at onboard info. And if you want to reset either one of these, you just click on it and click the OK button to reset. You can have a trip computer. You can look at the owner's manual, although I do think it's easier just to watch a video, and you can really pressure it for something to do. You can look at the regulatory notes. All right, let's go back to the main menu here. We're gonna take a look at media. So under media, the questions are always, how do I tune, how do I make a preset, and how do I look at stations, and then how do I adjust sound? Well, we've already seen how to adjust sound. So for this, of course, you can just click on these things. These are favorites right now, okay? And you can use the rotary knob. But if I want to take a look at sources, if I press the media button down below, I can get satellite radio, FM, and then of course my phone. So let's just go to FM for a minute, and I'm gonna click. I'm using the rotary dial again. Yep, so I'm just using the rotary knob in the middle and scrolling through the stations, okay? I can also click the search button right here, and then I can use the rotary button again, and you can see the dial moving. Now, anytime you're on a favorite you already have, it's gonna show you this little check mark. If you're on something that doesn't have a check mark and you want to make it a favorite, just click the arrow, just click the star. There we go. Right? Hit back. You can also use a plus and minus if you want to. Okay, it is going to work the same, you know, for AM, FM, and satellite radio. Satellite radio, you're just going to get a few extra buttons, like, let's see, a time shift, favorite alerts, and a program guide. Okay, so that's how you tune, and it'll work the same again for AM or FM or Sears XM. You can also use there are right and left arrow on the physical buttons below the air vents. And if I am, let's just say I go back to sources and go back to FM for a minute, I can use those arrows to tune, and you can see it changing up above. Okay, I can use the mode button, and again I get my sources already, and I can use the band button to switch between AM and satellite radio. It won't, and FM. So it's just a way to switch sources without actually going to a list of sources. But the only thing I don't think it listed was my phone here, but we'll see. Yeah, it's just the radio band. Now, the buttons down here are an interesting item. All right, so you're gonna notice that as I scroll my fingers across, it's touch sensitive. So I think that's kind of cool. So you can kind of just, if you don't know what number you're pressing, you just kind of feel, and you can just watch the top and then click on the one that you want. So interesting feature that, I mean, it looks very much the same as other BMWs, but this is actually touch sensitive. All right, let's go back to the menu for a minute here. And again, I'm just using the menu button down by the center R console controller. And notifications. So there are notifications. These are things that would pop up like low fluid, time to service oil, low windshield wiper fluid, that kind of thing. We'll click the back arrow here. So that's it on the infotainment screen. I do want to show you the backup cameras quickly, so I'm going to just go here and put it in reverse. All right, so this is your backup view. You do have dynamic swivel guidelines. It is a split screen. I wish there was a way to make the camera full screen, but you have sensors in this screen, okay, that show you objects ahead of you, front and rear, which is nice. If I click here, you can adjust the brightness, you can adjust the contrast. Right here, you can turn the guidelines on or off. You can see those going on or off there. And they are dynamic. So then this one just turns off your rear sensors in case you were towing something you didn't want it beeping at you all the time. And then you have a gear button down here, which again, I'm going to have to use the rotary dial to get to. So here we go. You can have automatic pedestrian detection activation on. So at low, really low speeds, like it's going to be 5 miles an hour or less. If it detects something in there, it's going to brake the vehicle automatically. Okay, and that is the rear camera system. We'll just put it back into park here. All right, so there are a couple of other buttons I want to talk about quickly, and they'll pop up depending on what menu you're in. They'll even pop up on this screen, but it's accessed by using the option button that's just below the rotary dial on the center console controller. So right now, if I just hit this, I get an option to do a split screen, but I can't turn it on or off in this particular, it only works in certain things. But like I can do turn off control display, change driver profile, contents of main menu, and display settings, that's it. So it's kind of like a shortcut to basic things. So let me go back to menu for a minute, and I'm going to actually click on media and radio. And now if I click that option button and I say turn off split screen, okay, this is the view I get. If I press the option button again and I hit split screen, under here you can see all the different things that you can access in the split screen, which is really nice. But what the arrow does, you can just click on the central controller and it brings you to that big picture. But what the arrow does is if you want to click on the screen, it brings you to the full screen of that particular split area. All right, so that's just one other option that I wanted to mention. That's kind of a cool option because that's a split screen is really nice. Okay, well that is it for the infotainment screen on the 2021 BMW X1 xDrive 28i all-wheel drive. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.